Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Big brr.
Yeah.
Brr, 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 brr. Let's go, let's go.
What's up, guys?
Hey Jenson, how are you?
Good. How are you, man?
Good. I will say I got Wyman on the phone. His power got knocked out right about the time he came on with us. So if
Uh,
you can hear him, good.
okay.
If not, I'm gonna tell him to hop on Wyman track.
Hey, Jenson, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got him.
Okay, good. All right, we'll go ahead and get it started then. Well, we want to
Right
thank
on.
you for coming on, Jensen, and
Yeah,
it's
no
great
problem.
to have you. And obviously, we're not here in person because I mean we'd love to be in person, be at Road Atlanta already, right?
Yeah, that'd be a good one. I'm certainly anxious to get there and see where we're stacked up in the championship.
Right. Our main question that we like to ask everybody first, obviously, is what really, I mean, I feel like we've already asked this at the track, but I'm sure we haven't. But what really got you into racing? What was your starting point?
So I started, I'd say, like majority of kids in the sports car or open wheel world did in karting. I came from a family that was very involved in motorsports. My dad and my mom both raced at times. Both my dad's parents raced. My mom's parents raced. Like it was kind of a generational thing. But they did a good job of never pushing motorsports on my sister and I in any capacity. I grew up going to Long Beach almost every year when I was a kid. My mom drove the safety car and Indy car or Champ car back then. So I'd always been around it, but I wasn't in a go kart when I was 6, like a lot of the other I think guys that I'm racing against now were. I moved from Southern California to Arizona when I was 11 or 12, and I lived there for about a year, and that's when I started karting. Like right after I moved is kind of when I realized that that's what I wanted to do. So I started saving up money. My parents made me accumulate a lot of cash to go start buying stuff. So I bought toolboxes, I bought tools, I bought a helmet, and then they were making me save up all the money to buy everything, and then they got me a go-kart for Christmas, and kind of that was that.
Right, and like you say, I came up sort of similar. Obviously, I didn't do the concrete side of it. I was more of a dirt flat cart driver, and
Okay.
that was awesome. It was so fun. My dad
Yeah.
actually got me the go-kart for Christmas one year, just like yours did. And then ran that for about 2, 3 years. Then obviously high school came around, had to step away from it. And then me and Wyman, us two being as crazy as we are and as devoted racing fans as we are, we just decided let's start this. And then Sam reached out to us about Daytona, and then that's whenever we saw you and Sam at Daytona, and that's whenever
Yeah.
we realized it was really taking off as much as it was.
Yeah. No, it's cool. I think the sports car stuff offers a lot of opportunity for what you guys are trying to do as well. But what I love is that you guys come from a different background, right? Like when I met you guys had dirt shirts on, and I was like, oh yes, I get to talk to someone about not sports car racing. Not that that gets repetitive. It's just it's fun to talk. Like you said, we're all just racing guys, so we just want to be able to chat about whatever.
Right, and that weekend just happened to be the one weekend that Wild was running the Chili Bowl, and we were sponsoring. So we're like, "Yeah, we'll wear it to the track, even though it doesn't
Yeah.
fly." And then that opened up a conversation with us, which was awesome.
Yeah.
But really, your season so far in NPC, we want to talk about a little bit how that's going as well. Obviously, you've had to deal with multiple drivers this year, Chad and Nate and Sam. And like you say, how would you say that that's been and how the season's been as a whole?
Well, you say I had to deal with them, like make it sound bad. I love driving with all 3 of those guys, right? Especially Chad. If he's listening, it's definitely good driving with the boss. No, I'm kidding. No, it's been a good championship for us so far. We showed a lot of promise our first year, but it's our first year, 2023. We led a lot of Daytona, had an issue. We podiumed a couple times that year, but we kind of at the end of 23 we had to level set, like, okay, we probably were eager to think that we could come in and really just start winning races right off the bat, so we learned a lot. Last year we showed up with a little bit more of a probably appropriate mindset, and we knew we had to attack and we knew we had to be consistent. Unfortunately, same kind of deal at Daytona. We had another flat tire, and then some contact at Laguna. And when you have two bad races, it's really, really tricky to pull yourself out of that hole.
Right.
Even one race, I feel, like I was talking to someone the other day about our race in Canada. We finished fifth this year. It was a good result, but I was so frustrated. And it's just, in any type of racing, you have to be inch perfect in every aspect to win, right? Like you can't make mistakes. But I feel like Pilot Challenge right now, with how competitive some of the drivers are, and like IMSA's doing a really good job with the BOP, keeping everything pretty fair. And with the 2 hour mark, like it's like just right to be wrong on the fuel level versus race time and pit stops. So it's just, I think it's even that much more, not to say it's any harder to win in one series versus another, but like you can't make the slightest bit of mistakes.
Right.
So it's been a good year. We've just been very consistent, which is important. That's something we haven't had the last 2 years. We're now 6 races in. We've only had one semi not really good result. And we're third. I think we're third in points. We were second going into Canada. So it's shaping up to be, a lot better than the last couple years. Unfortunately, it's really frustrating that the leader in points is like so far checked out. Means we have a lot of work to do to try and catch that. But it doesn't mean it's not possible. I think we're going to a couple tracks right off the bat here for the next 4 races that are really going to suit our car. And it's just about maximizing, right? That's how you win championships,
Right.
minimizing your bad results, right?
Right. You gotta, and obviously, just like how not the greatest results of the season for y'all can go over the same way with Luca and his car and everything. And
Sure.
y'all could be right back stepping into that same game plan, like, hey, reset the whole entire mindset. We're dead even in points going into
Absolutely.
Atlanta or whatever. Let's just go. We're got to be 1-0 every week. Got to win every week.
Yep.
What can we do right to make it benefit off of everything?
Yeah.
And I think looking at it from this point too, even though RS1, I think this was their worst finish over the weekend was Canada, and y'all still came out with a top five. You have to kind of look at the pros and cons that it was able to build that gap or increase, bite into that gap that they have over y'all.
Yep. Yeah, it's not always about though it's not about having the result, but it's about having a result, right? Like, okay, we finished fifth. All things considering, this is pretty good. Let's look at our track record for Canada the last 2 years. I think we were probably 17th and maybe even worse than that. So, we're we're doing what we can. Again, it's tricky knowing that we gave up a little bit. Like a third would have been so much better uh points wise. But like you said, RS1 could, knock on wood that you don't want to see it happen to them, but if they have a bad championship, now it's RS1, MMR, and Carbon all, battling for it, probably within a 30-point gap. And again, that's just why sports car racing has always been so awesome to me.
Right. And like you say, obviously, you being a Ford Performance Junior driver this year, which obviously that's a huge accomplishment for your career. But another one this year that we saw was you going over to Le Mans and running in the Ford Mustang Invitational over there. How was that for your career, and how was it for a personal experience for you?
Spectacular, like genuinely hard to find the words to describe both of those things, right? Like you make a good point. It did a lot for my career and did a lot for me personally. Career wise, I'd love all the junior drivers. It's our goal to be back there. And it's maybe not our goal to be back there racing in a dark horse R, right? Like we want to go do the big show.
Right.
And getting laps around there is so it's that opportunity doesn't happen. Real laps around that racetrack do not happen. So the way I like to look at it, the sim has come so far. For Performance's Technical Center, which is actually just a few minutes down the road from me, we've done a great job of really dialing in some correlation stuff, and it's a great tool. But being able to drive on a racetrack, especially a track that's as high caliber as Le Mans, and it's like it's intense when you show up, right? It's not like showing up to a random track you've never driven in the States. Like it's kind of the track that we all hold at the highest level. So just
Right.
having driven there, like, if me or any other five junior drivers, they told us tomorrow, or they told us the day before we had to fly for the 24-hour next year, we're all that much more comfortable with the opportunity to get laps around that place and just visualize it all. I'm a big believer in sleeping on a new racetrack or a new race car. Like anytime I go coach somebody or go to a new track for myself. After that first day, when you get to go home and sleep on it, it's like you show up. It's like, oh, okay. Well, I already know what it looks like when I get to turn 18 or whatever it is on at Le Mans, right? But it's just the fact that it's less. It's less of a question mark. You kind of know what you're going to get when you get there.
Right. And the other thing, like you say, Le Mans is one of those tracks where you grow up playing Gran Turismo, Forza, Project Cars 2, you name it, and you see Le Mans. Oh, okay. Let's just race here. No,
Yeah,
driving in a car is like, whoa, I'm really here.
yeah.
And
It
it's
hit it hit me when I came onto the back straight. For whatever reason, I don't even know if they were actually palm trees. I don't know if palm trees grow in France, but I'm like, man, that look like those trees are pretty tall up there. They don't really feel like I'd be in France. And then you get, you know, a third of the way down the straightaway, and you're going 170, and the walls. I don't know if they actually are shorter, but you feel like they're not there. Like you genuinely feel like you are on a French country road, like straight out of Ford versus Ferrari, when there's that scene of like them battling, like just inching each other on the back straight, and it's like super low. Like that's how it felt. You don't really feel the walls when you're out there.
oh wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And Jensen, you spent most of your career driving the GT4, and I talked to Chad about this on Thursday when I was at Roveland. Asked him kind of some of the nuances between driving the GT4 and the challenge car, and I like to hear different drivers' perspectives on it. Chad said that the GT4 was so much more technical and aero sensitive than the challenge car. From your perspective, how did you feel at driving at Le Mans and then coming back to Watkins Glen the next week and jumping in a different car?
Yeah, the driving style is probably the biggest difference. Like Chad mentioned, we have the GT4 cars more race car based. You could say that that's probably 75% race car, whereas the Dark Horse R is almost 75% street car. So you just kind of have to attack it a little bit differently. That's something that I found in Le Mans after my first day, after I'd slept on it. I came back, I was like, I'm almost going to approach this as if I'm driving a road car that's got a lot of race parts on it rather than a race car that's just got some road parts. And that kind of just helped me finesse everything a little bit more. The GT4, we just have a lot more tools. You can be a bit more aggressive. I think another thing too is the tire. That's something Chad and I talked a lot about before I went over. He helped explain to me what they've learned on the different compound that they run in Mustang Challenge. And the window is just a little bit different. And what you really got to be careful of in the Mustang Challenge cars, not getting a tire outside the window because it doesn't really like to come back. I actually found that I like that. I thought it made it really fun. You had to be careful not to upset the tire. It's just one more challenge. But another thing, the driving style is a little bit different, but the car is the same. The GT3 car is a little bit different. They start hacking away part of the chassis, but the GT4 and the Dark Horse R are this, virtually the same chassis, just different roll cages inside. So it's really cool to be able to, not only from my perspective, but Ford's perspective, every single step that you make throughout their ladder system is the same platform. Dark, Mustang Cup, Mustang Challenge, GT4, GT3, they're all built off the same car. They come off the same part of the assembly line, which is pretty cool.
Right. That's pretty interesting in itself. I didn't really think about it that way. You saying more of the Dark Horse R being more like something that you'd see at your local track day event where you just show up, okay, I just want to go drive my car out on the racetrack, just have some
Yeah.
fun. But then the GT4R or not GT4R, what am I talking about? The GT4 is something that you say, okay, that's nothing like what you drive at a track day. You gotta have some special talent to drive that.
Yeah. It's just you have a different mindset when you strap yourself in. Like, you know, the biggest thing for me was the brakes. I wanted to get in the Dark Horse R and just attack the brakes like we do in the GT4 car. And it just wasn't something I was able to do. The brakes are still flawless. They're great brakes, but it's not a race car. It's more road car. It's a road car pedal box. So you just have to approach it a little bit differently. But once I tamed myself down a little bit, I actually started going faster, which is a common theme for me. I usually have to slow down to get faster, but
Yeah. And then, like you say, obviously, you being the Ford junior driver and everything, do you think that really opened up the opportunity for you this year as we've seen you run sprint races for Gradient? Do you think that alone helped you open that door to that deal that you got with them?
I'd like to think so. Yeah, it's been really cool. I've been working with Ford Performance really since I joined. Well, since Chad and I started racing a GT4 car under the MMR banner, and seeing everything that I saw as just kind of a driver that was in a Ford versus when you actually get to join the family and being a part of the junior program and all the guidance that they give in every aspect, on track, off track, true performance, talking to cameras, everything has just been a great tool. And yeah, I think, the deal with Gradient was something that we had been talking about since like Indy last year, and it gets quite expensive. So we were trying to figure out how we could maybe make something work, and it wasn't much longer after, or much it wasn't far after the announcement came out of me, Sam, Marco, Eric, and Nathan, that those conversations started happening again with those guys, and we both really just wanted to find a way for it to work. Like I think they saw the what they could gain, having a junior driver a part of their program. But also for me, right? Like it's a great stepping stone. Obviously, it would have been crazy hectic to run GT3 and GT4 this year if that opportunity even presented itself. But only doing the sprint races is kind of a good way, I think, for me to segue running both.
Right. And then another thing, bridging over into that more of the how you said the GT3 and GT4 at the same time. Do you think the goal for next season at the moment is to stay with MMR, run the GT4, or are you looking more of, I want to jump into the GTD and just go full force, run it full time next season?
Yeah, that's a hard one to answer because the truth of the matter is my goal is to not be able to run with MMR next year, right? Like if I can find the necessary means to go run a full WeatherTech season, to really kind of tick off the true endurance races and have those under my belt before maybe making the next step. It's the necessary path. It's just a bummer because I've been with MMR my entire car racing career, and I don't want to have to leave those guys. But yeah, it's been brought up a couple times, but no one really wants to talk about it because we would all be pretty. I mean, I think the guys would be sad if I left. I know I'd be satisfied to leave them, but yeah, I mean, we'll see. It's always it's kind of a revolving door. We're just trying to always see where things line up. Out, it's easy to say that you want to have what you're going to do the next year set up pretty early, but you never really know, right? It could come down to the last minute. So something
Right.
we'll have to see.
Then, like you say, you not wanting to leave MMR. We might get Chad in some conversations. Hey, Chad, let's make a GT3 and let's run that now.
That would be cool. I'd
Yeah,
be all for
yeah,
that.
that'd be pretty neat, but I don't know if Chad would like it too much.
I think he needs some room in his shop first.
Yeah. He'd probably want to win the GT4 championship before he started delving into that, though, wouldn't he?
Well, we can try. We can still make that happen this year.
That's true.
That's right. We still got a few races left, and we've been showing some strong pace all year. I think if it can come down from what I talked to Chad about, I was asking what's some strengths and weaknesses he's seen that as a driver you have not control of what the pit crew does. And he was saying that there was some issues probably this year with the way the fuel's been going in the car. And I think that really came prevalent last week at Canadian Tire, that you weren't able to get enough gas in it. For you as a driver, is that kind of what you're also seeing too?
So yes, yeah, that is an issue that we're chasing. We've been chasing it for a little bit now, and it's frustrating because we think we have it. We're always, like I said, we're always trying to get it fixed, and so we think we have it, and then we kind of find another little issue. So Ford and the entire MMR team are working hard to get that fixed. Actually, this weekend, they're all going to the shop and supply. Our engineers from Charlotte, I think they're actually for performance, is sending some guys out there too, to really just get that nailed down, because it's a bummer to kind of leave a good result up to something like, if that's gonna, you know operate as advertised, but those guys are always in our back pocket trying to help us out, and I think we're going to have it fixed for the remainder of the year. So
And then, like you say, up and coming years, obviously, you're talking about making the next step to, goodness gracious, WeatherTech. And then, obviously, you said there's another step under that. Is that next step kind of like you say, Ford's talking about bringing well, obviously, they are bringing a hypercar to WEC. Is that the main goal now? Is kind of, hey, I want to go drive the hypercar. Or you want to stay down more of the GT level to where you
you
have
know
everything?
it wasn't, but maybe now it is. I've always liked the GT stuff. I'm loving the GT3, right? It's my first year driving something like that, having an absolute blast. But the thought of turning down the opportunity to race in the highest level seems a little silly. So I've certainly the idea's been growing on me. Obviously, anything that Ford wants me to do, I'd be happy to jump in, even if it's a NASCAR. I'd love to go drive anything.
Oh,
But
yeah.
yeah, it's been more and more in the back of my mind. It's a couple years out, and I have no prototype experience, so I don't expect them to just throw me in. But I've certainly been poking around and asking a lot of questions, just trying to stay in the loop because I want to know what we're doing, even if I'm no part of it. I want to be in the know. I want to be at tests. I want to go to the sim sessions. I want to do all that kind of stuff. Um, but yeah, we'll see. That would definitely be cool. Like going to win Le Mans is huge. Going to win Le Mans or Daytona, whatever big race overall is like you can't take that away from anybody.
Right. Obviously, the thought of it really is escaping at the moment, but then whenever somebody throws it on the table, it's like, oh, we're doing it. We're not turning it down. Like, I don't
Yeah,
really want to do it, but then you're going to offer it, so yeah, I'm going to do it.
yeah. So I think that's why, like, that's a good point. I think that's kind of been my mindset, and so I'm preparing myself now so that in three, however many years, if it does happen, it's not like, oh man, I haven't really thought about that. It's like, no, I've been ready for this if it does happen because
Right.
I want to be able to say yes and feel prepared when that opportunity comes.
Right. And obviously, we don't want to consume too much more time of your evening and everything because,
No,
like
all good,
I said
man. I got
earlier.
plenty of time if you guys want to sit and chat.
Oh, yeah, of course. We can just sit here and talk now. But we'll turn the recording off and we can just sit here and talk for a couple minutes.
All right, on.
But yeah, Jensen, we want to thank you for coming on and being here with us. It's been a pleasure to have you.
Yeah, no problem, guys. Thanks for
Absolutely,
thinking of
one.
me, and
Thanks to you.
yeah, no problem. Anytime I can help you guys out with some stuff like this, it's good for me too. Not only the publicity, but it's good training for me to sit here in front of a camera and make sure to say the right things. And you guys are doing a good job of asking, you know, all of the questions, the good, the bad, the future, the past. So I appreciate it.
Oh yeah, thank you. That's great feedback for us too. We hadn't really heard that side of it.
No, for sure.